Hi, Steve from Colbium Games, and today I'm going to give you a rundown of the Phase 2 feature set that should be released. Here you can see the overall phases of the game. So Phase 1 is complete, which was just releasing into early access, fixing bugs and stability, and just basically getting the game in a playable state. Phase 2 is when we start to add some really new features for Beat Hazard 3 and sort of pretty much evolving stuff from Beat Hazard 2 into 3. So that's going to involve bringing the older weapons into a new system, updating the graphics, updating the way they work, and I'm introducing this idea of alien nanotech. And you capture the nanotech by completing missions, and then you spend those on upgrading weapons. And this is what I'm going to take through in a minute. This is the stuff I've just been working on and has just finished. Phase 3, which comes next, is called Ancient Aliens, and this is all going to be about finding alien blueprints, which then allow you to unlock and enhance new weapons and ships. And those will be found mainly in Galaxy mode. And you know, by exploring the galaxy, but probably also from other achievements. For example, finishing all the missions on a ship, possibly. I'm not fully decided yet, but there'll be multiple ways of getting alien blueprints, which then allow you to further unlock weapons. Phase 4 and 5 is where I'm going to focus on the galaxy modes, because that's really basic at the moment. So I just really want to getting the galaxy mode playable from a multiplayer point of view in terms of asynchronous multiplayer, and being able to have factions, breaking the galaxy itself into hexagonal zones so that it's not just as crazy. Sorry, just checking to see whether my audio is on. Yeah, that's fine. So a lot of changes there. And then Phase 6 is going to be all based on the mothership. So being able to do more with the mothership, adding weapons platforms, probably being able to arrange a mothership in more interesting ways, being able to see other people's motherships, all that sort of stuff. And as we go through, even though it says like Phase 2 is complete, obviously it's still going to go through some sort of testing, and I'm open to feedback. So anything that needs balancing or sorting out, I'll always be going back and readdressing what's already been written. So complete is like, you know, features there and working, but especially with this Phase 2 one, there's going to be so much stuff. It's bound to need balancing. So let me switch that off, and this is Phase 2 in more detail. So the main thing is bringing up to date some of the weapons that are in Beat Hazard 2. So we've got Cascade Bomb, which should be the super bomb, Hornet missiles, which were micro missiles, Reflect Shield, EMP virus, Sentinel drones. So as you can see from that screenshot, they've all got a bit of a new look to them. Some have got extra functionality. And this bit at the bottom here shows you how each weapon is now configurable. So if I run the game, I'll dive into how that actually works. So here we can see there's a new option on the main menu, which is called Armory. This is where all your weapons are going to be. You can see the ones that you get as standard, and then there's ones that later on that you're going to unlock using these alien blueprint technology. So if we go into the Cascade Bomb, you use the nano tech that you collect to upgrade and configure these weapons. So for example, if I upgrade the density of this bomb, I can then increase that, and then I can assign augmentation points to it. So I've got 2 out of 2. If I upgrade the number of points, I can further increase the power of that attribute for that weapon. So you can see like it's 2 tiers. You have to unlock something, and then you use the points to then enable that attribute. We've also got an overdrive mode. So once you get to that point, you see that the increase of the attribute doubles for that one. So at that point you can really ramp up that particular attribute. Now I've designed it in such a way that, let's just quickly, that you can never So this is totally fully unlocked now, but you've never got enough points to obviously fill them all up, because that would be a bit boring. So that you've always got to decide how you want your weapon to work and where you're going to focus your points. So for example, with this bomb, you've got a density of the projectiles that come out, the amount of damage each one causes when it hits something. The shield duration is how long your shield lasts after you've set the bomb off. And then common to all of the weapons is the pickup rate. So for example, if I put that on high up, 50% pickup rate means you'll get 50% more of these items to pick up while you're playing. So it's definitely it's up to you how you balance all these different attributes. And as you're messing around with it, you can do test weapon, and you can see which attributes change the weapon's behaviour. So it's quite quick. So if I now bring this right down, bring the density down, and say the shield duration up, you should be able to see now. Look, the density is a lot less, but my shield lasts a lot longer. So depending on your play style and how you want to configure the weapons, you can bend it to the way, or even maybe the type of level that you're playing. You can get it to work in your favour. So that's Cascade Bomb. We've got Hornet Missiles. This has got 5 different attributes to play with. EMP Virus. See, that's got a few less. This one, Reflect Shield and Sentinel Drones. Sentinel Drones are pretty crazy now, actually. Once you let's get number and fire rate right up. They fire like mad. Which is pretty cool. So the sort of initial settings for each weapon's probably a little bit underpowered, but then once you start unlocking stuff, probably well, not necessarily overpowered, just very powerful. Once this is released, obviously there's probably going to be a period of balancing. If there's some weapons that are vastly better than another, then we'll definitely be tweaking it, and that can either be done via pickup rate, which is a simple way of doing it, or tweaking these individual settings to make sure nothing's too out of line with any other weapons. So that's phase 2. The one small thing that's been changed is survival mode's had a tweak. So survival mode now goes up on time, which it didn't used to do, and then difficulty goes in proportion with. Sorry, it shows you the difficulty as well. So it starts at 100% and it goes up, but it goes up sort of a non-linear curve. So it starts off at sort of 1 a second, but then starts to accelerate. And I think it's a bit more interesting. And the high score, instead of which used to be actual score, is now done on time. So it's how long you can last, irrespective of sort of how. In fact, the score's essentially irrelevant. In fact, let me get down here. And you'll see at the end of survival. In fact, at the end of any mode, I'll unlock some nanotech items, which you can then use for upgrading your weapons. So in survival mode, it's obviously based on the duration. It depends on which mode it is, how it works it out. And there you go. That's a whirlwind tour of the phase 2 development. Give me some feedback. I expect that there's some tweaks to be done and some game balancing to have a look at. But I hope you enjoy this update, and I'll do another video for the next phase. See ya.